We're joined now from UCLA, Coach Amanda Cromwell, and to her left is Jenna Richmond, and to Jenna's left is Taylor Smith. And we will ask Coach Cromwell to open with an opening statement, and then we'll open the floor for questions for the coach and for the student athletes.
Thank you. Obviously, it's great to be here. We're very excited. This venue is tremendous. I was walking around the facilities yesterday, got to see the pitch a little bit, and just really excited. Great competition. We're familiar with all these teams. Obviously, I played in the ACC, so I'm very familiar with Virginia because it's also my alma mater. So it's some exciting games to be, to come up on Friday and Sunday. And again, just thanks for hosting us and having us here.
Amanda, you touched on it already, but you're going up against your alma mater, and as one of the biggest stars in their history, it's got to have some kind of bittersweet moment for you.
It is a little bit because I'm definitely proud of them for making the Final Four. It's been quite a long time. They've had some excellent teams between my senior year and now, but obviously we have a game to win on Friday, and that's where. On our sake, we want to move on. So, again, I've always supported my alma mater, but in the end, we have a game to win. So, it'll be sweet for us to win.
Steve Swanson says he has a Virginia scarf for you, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Coach, what has gone right for you in your first season at UCLA to get the team here to this point? Obviously, it's a pretty talent side of the roster. It's a good achievement to do, to come in and transition. What has gone right for you and the players as well to get here?
I think the players can answer some of that question, but I left a very good UCF team after being there for 14 years for this reason. I knew the quality of players at UCLA. This was a goal from the get-go, to win the Pac-12, to win a national championship. And I have to give all the credit to the players, really. The leadership has been fantastic. They really came around, having a new coach after a short time. Jenna's had 3 different coaches in 4 years. That's a tough adjustment. And again, the leadership was big with helping us communicate things, and they really kind of came under our leadership, and it's been pretty seamless. And I have to point to the trip too that we took, the Notre Dame's tournament and then Duke's tournament, and that we were on the road for 10 days together, and I got to know each other and spend some time away from the field. And that definitely helps.
Coach, I know a lot of teams recruit at this event. I don't know if you've come in the past or if you've sent your assistant coaches, if you've come to many of these college cups over the years when you were at UCF.
Yes, we have. 2 years ago at UCF, we got to the Elite Eight, so I was hoping to be here as a participant, but we fell short. So that one was in Atlanta and Kennesaw. But yeah, I've been to Cary a few times to recruit.
The point being, when you were a player in '91, it's transformed immensely.
Yes.
I don't know if you have an extra perspective, just you've only been here for a day or so, but just your thoughts on when you were a player in '91.
Well, I don't remember any of this happening. I just remember going to play a game. I don't remember this very professional side to it, that there's a lot of excitement and with the publicity and the press here, and just how they're treating the players. It just comes across as this is a professionally run event, and it's a true national championship and a Final Four, how it should be. These players have worked very hard, and they deserve to be treated this way.
I saw you at the Colorado game, and
Right.
you guys were having a good season. But tell us how your lead up to the NCAAs went in the first few rounds. You had talked about some things you guys were still hoping to work on at that point, but it seems like Lebruski's been playing a bigger role each week, and so you're getting even more depth if that was possible.
Yeah, that's one of our strengths, definitely the depth of this team, and throwing different formations out as well. Personnel changes have been throughout the season. I think when you watch our transformation from the end of the season throughout playoffs, I think our attack has been very good. Taylor Smith has been unbelievable. Her impact on the game and just how dangerous she is, and Sam, I'm pointing to you. Sam over there has, I think, 5 assists in the playoffs. That's incredible. Jenna and Sarah in the midfield have just been running the show. So when you look at the playmaking and the attacking, the dynamic attack we have, it's hard to stop, and we haven't given up a goal yet. So I'd be remiss not to mention our defense. Knock on wood. But our defense is very, very hard to score on, and our goalkeeping, I think we have the best keeper in the country.
Jen, obviously Virginia has Morgan Bryan, who's in the middle of a great season. What do you think is going to be the key to win that midfield battle? Not just focusing on her and the individual battle, but what do you think will be the keys to beating Virginia in the midfield?
Definitely be aware of her, obviously, but if we just focus on our game, focus on the midfield shape, like me, Sarah, and Sam together working, I think that it'll be a really tough battle, and I think it'll be really good.
Taylor, little thoughts on the goal at UNC? I mean, it can't get much better than that, huh? But just walk us through it and the celebration after.
Oh yeah, it was really exciting. Like we'd been working hard the entire game, and I just remember North Carolina was actually coming down our side and actually got a scary shot off, and Caitlin made like a great save. And I remember like after that we had to transition, and I know pretty sure she hit a ball to Sam. Sam got it to Sarah, and like me and Sarah trying to get that through ball the entire game, and she played a perfect ball, and I just ran with it, and I had an eye for the goal, and I was gonna finish. So it was just exciting, and then the dog pile just getting crushed was fun. But yeah, so.
Man, oversimplification or not, but number one rated defense in the country statistically against the number one offense in the country statistically. Where do you see the game turning? Where do you look for the edge?
Well, it's very true that I think our defense and their attack has been touted as it's like everyone has wanted to see this game. I feel like throughout the season, I've been following Virginia, and I was like, wow, that'd be a great game to play. I think it comes down to our attack against their defense, and how they can adjust to some of our dynamic players and the different threats we can bring from different areas of the field with the speed. And then there's also the midfield duel. You have a player like Morgan Bryan in there. You always have to keep an eye on her. She's so dynamic, and she makes these great runs out of the midfield. So I think if we can, our three, especially our two defensive with Jenna and Sarah, can bottle down Morgan Bryan, and then our attack does what they've been doing, we should be in good shape.
Have you this season faced a team that has a midfielder who scores so many goals out of their?
Crystal Dunn. So we faced her early on. That was our one loss of the season. Crystal did have a big impact on that game. She scored the game-winning goal. This game, obviously, she was injured, so she was in and out of the game. But she still, she came in. She was dynamic, and she had an impact.
Jenna, when you signed with UCLA, it was like every year getting to this final weekend, right? And I think your senior year in high school must have been like the 6th in a row.
Yes, I was actually here during that.
Oh, you were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's right. But did you think, what were your thoughts after the near misses the last few years, losing to Stanford last year in the quarterfinal, and just describe your excitement for being back for your last go?
I'm super excited. It's like a full turnaround. I was definitely here in the past college cups watching UCLA. Actually sat behind the bench, and I was always amazed by the players here, and I always wanted to make it here, and this is the first time, and I'm definitely super thankful. And watching them back then, it definitely gave me fire to get back here. And recently we had Lauren Cheney come into our locker room and describe those moments when UCLA has been here for a couple years and we haven't done anything, and that definitely gave us drive to do something this year, and it definitely helped hearing her talk about the past.
Can you
And
share
stuff.
any really poignant things she said or that made an impact on you?
Well, just knowing that they've been here in the semifinals, and then just being up a goal, and then coming back and never really finishing it through. And I think that by listening to that story, it's just we don't want to get to that point, that we're here and we want to do something now.
And to add to that, I think one thing she really touched on, because those teams when Cheney was playing were so talented. And the one thing she said that I think hit home with everybody was talent is not going to win it for you. It's not talent alone. You gotta grind it out. And that's when you look at our run through the playoffs. So we had to grind some games out. Stanford it was a tough game. It's a Sweet 16 game that we have to play against one of our biggest rivals. Who we beat in sudden death overtime during the season, and we just knew that was going to be a battle, and it was. We didn't, Taylor scored the go-ahead goal, or the second goal to kind of seal it off with, I think, 5 minutes to go. But they were all over us for part of that game. And there's sometimes you just have to grind it out and you have to battle. And no matter how talented we are, which we know, I mean, you look at the names on the roster, it's not a doubt how talented we are. But we know there's going to be a battle. And then you go to the UNC game, and if you watch that game, you can tell we kind of, Tony DeChico actually sent me an email and was like, it was great to see you kind of, he was like, congrats for outlasting UNC. And that's, sometimes you got to outlast somebody. And that's the game of soccer.
Do you think that's what you need to do against Virginia, maybe? Or at least be prepared to do that?
We definitely be prepared to do that. I think it's going to be a little different tempo to that game. It was pretty insane, over 90 minutes against UNC. But yeah, we do have to be prepared to outlast them because it can go back and forth in that game. Both teams are so talented.
Coach, the number with Virginia is the low goal total, but the shots on goal they're giving up is ridiculously low. And sometimes that's more indicative of the quality of the team defense. You can give up a fluke goal here or there that can skew that number. But what do you take away from that? And there's no way a team giving up that few shots on goal, that's a consistent thing. And how are you guys going to approach that?
I think part of that reason is because their best defense is their possession. So they have a lot of the ball. The other teams don't have that many chances to really create. So I know the teams that had created a lot of shots, like a Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament, they had some speed going forward. They're dynamic in their attack, and they kind of went after it a little bit. And so we have to force the issue.
Jenna, as the only team not from the ACC here in the middle of ACC country, do you feel like you're carrying the banner for soccer everywhere else, or you're somehow the rest of America's team this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really cool that we're the only Pac-12 team in here, and I think we have a lot of support back home, especially from the other Pac-12 schools, and it's really cool to see how we made it through here, especially with our bracket, and it's just going to be a fun game to see.
Coach, I was wondering if you could share with us, you must be getting contacted by your former teammates, but you mentioned like Lauren Cheney, and that's great for a first-year coach that the alumni are reaching out to you at UCLA. I imagine she's not the only one. So what has that been like for you? You're getting kudos from both sides, and maybe share like some of the Virginia people you've heard from that were close friends.
Yeah, I had two of my Virginia teammates at the hotel yesterday. They live down here. One's John Kerr's wife. He's the head coach at Duke. Tracy Kerr. We were actually played club team together in Virginia, growing up. And her sister also was on the team. So I've been hearing a lot of obviously with the social media on Facebook. A lot of people are torn. A lot of teammates out there are like, congrats to Virginia, but Amanda's team is in it, and so. It's fun to see. They're all the great thing about it is just bringing so much knowledge to the game, and everyone's spreading the word. And so I think we're gonna have a lot of people tuning in, whether they're here in Cary at the stadium or they're watching on TV. I think it's a great thing.
What was the general vibe with the Virginia alumni with 22 years before getting back there? It's a pretty long time. And then
Yeah. I think the vibe was it's overdue for sure because they've recruited so well there. I mean, Steve's done a fantastic job. So it was, they kind of were snake bit a little bit, whether losing in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, and they needed to get over that hump, so to speak. The alumni were definitely plugged in and really wanting to see the team get back to the Final Four.
Taylor, can you tell us about the season Darian Jenkins has had? She came in and scored all those goals early for you guys, and obviously you guys lost Bywaters from last year, but just kind of pick up the slack, and you guys have, as Coach said, you've been dynamic and kind of building as the season's gone on.
Yeah, losing Z was like really tough and stuff. She's an awesome player, but having Darian and like adding her to like our team was like phenomenal. She's done great. Like she came in and just started and just added something that we didn't have, and like that was really helpful towards the beginning, and even to now it's still like she's still going strong and stuff. So we're really excited about her future here.
I feel she's impacted your game specifically. If you think back to the beginning of the season and now.
Yeah, she's just a great addition. Like she's really helpful, and like it's just two different styles of play, and it's really hard for teams to deal with that and stuff. So.
Coach, when you mentioned formations, does that mean you've been playing a little 4-4-2 lately with Cody? Is that, I know you don't want to tilt your hand, but you just been looking
Our
at
formation
different
looks like a couple different formations because of how they played in the front. We've played everything from a 3-5-2 this year to a 4-4-2 modified to a 4-2-3-1. So you can kind of see the way the forwards are, and how we press is kind of dictates what the shape is and what we decide to do. But the great thing is they're comfortable with whatever we throw out there. Obviously, our back's been playing so well going forward. Ali Courtnall and Caprice just bottled up the UNC flank forwards, and that was great to see. So it's pretty consistent in the back line. Nothing will change back there.
That was your first UCLA recruit, right?
Yes, she
Ali.
was.
Getting her back.
Getting her back was key to our back line, and she's shown it. Having a track athlete back there that is fit and fast, and she also wants to win. So it's a great combination.
You told us last weekend you were gonna stay over this week. Were you trying to recreate that Notre Dame and Duke vibe, being on the road a long time and kind of bonding again?
Well, we knew that would be a benefit, is just having some downtime together, and but also just the thought of flying cross country back and forth again was we never even considered it, honestly. It was going to be too much. We had one player, Sarah Killian, who had a test that she was going to potentially have to fly back for, but thank you UCLA professors for being so accommodating, because it's been, for no one have to fly back, that's huge, and just being able to train and recover, get in the ice bath. And UNC, I have to say, has been very accommodating too, because we use their facilities on Sunday and Monday, and their ice bath and everything. So thank you to Anson and his staff.
For the players, can you talk about what that's been like being together this long? Any funny stories or neat things you guys have done in these days? Has it made you more relaxed for just staying out here, not having to travel back and forth?
It's definitely nice not having to travel back and forth. It's been great for us as a team to stay together. We're shopping at the Crabtree Mall together, and it's been really good for us, staying together, keeping our camaraderie close and everything, and it's been fun. It's been a really good trip.
Get some good North Carolina barbecue or anything, or no?
We've definitely been eating a lot,
We've
but
been
we haven't
eating
had the
a lot,
barbecue
yeah.
yet. We went to a movie, got to see the Girl on Fire movie, some of us went to. But they were all worried about their banquet outfits. They were excited. We had a day, actually a day, Tuesday was a day off. They got to go to the mall and do a little shopping.
Especially Thanksgiving together, that's the best. Being together with the team, not being with our families and friends, but we've created a family here, and I think it was a lot of fun.
Jenna, real quick, could you summarize you and Sam and Sarah's playing experience with Morgan, Brian? And I don't know how you guys overlap on the different national teams over the years, but I would imagine you guys, all three of you, are familiar with her to some degree.
Yes, Sarah and Sam, they were with the U20s with Morgan. I was never in with the younger national teams with her at all, but recently with the under 23s, we've been together. And she's a really good player, and we all know that it's going to be a good game, no matter what. And I think that if we all focus, play our own games and stuff, and be aware of her definitely, and then just be connected, Sarah and I and Sam together, and I think it'll be okay.
I got one more quick note, so I'm just firing them off.
Yeah, no worries.
I got here late, I gotta catch up. Coach, most pleasantly surprising thing about the job, as you look back, like we talked about how you hired pretty late, was it April?
It was.
Spring practice was already over, you just had some little 4-on-4 or whatever. But now that after all these games behind you, when you talk to your family or close friends, what has blown you away about your UCLA experience?
A few things. One, the camaraderie among the department is palpable. You can feel everyone is supportive of each other because the expectations are so high. So you can feel that the coaches are always like, "Hey, good job! What's going on this weekend?" And you walk downstairs and there's this Hall of Fame with all of the national championship trophies, and it's just kind of wow. You know, I remember I was on my interview, actually, I got to see the campus for real for the first time, and I was like, I want to go here. Can I come? As a student athlete, because it just was so impressive. So that part of it, just getting more aware of the campus and really what everything had to offer as we go on this recruiting trail. And the other thing was the team. I was at UCF for 14 years, and obviously the connections with my players and my alums. There are a lot of alums stayed in Orlando, so I had this family atmosphere and this feeling. And so I touched on that trip earlier because that's, I think, one of my biggest just doubts that maybe it was like, how fast can we get this team to come together with a new staff and really buy into what we're doing? And just the feeling among the team has been awesome this fall. Just this feeling, and alums, or some I know, some I don't. Like Cindy LaRue, I coached on the U20 national team. We won a World Cup together in Chile, and she's been around the team and has been texting me constantly, and it's been awesome. I had these. And Nandy Price came, and she just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and she came and spoke to the girls. So I have these connections with these alums. And Nandy Price was a Florida player that I knew just in the the recruiting aspect. She said no to UCF, so she's one of those kids I always kept in touch with. Got through some other aspects, and so that is this. It seemed to be like an instant family for me, and so that was like the biggest surprise, probably.
One more would be your goalkeeper coach who played for UCF. I always have trouble pronouncing her name. Reyes.
Eleni Hayes.
Okay. Very, very spirited young lady.
Yes.
I transferred over, but. Can you put in perspective the impact she's had on Caitlin Rowland this year? Obviously, Caitlin was a great goalkeeper already, but now that you've got all these games in the bank, how is she directed? I know coaches love to give credit to their assistant coaches because they often are more anonymous, but just
Yeah.
what she's meant.
I mean, the whole staff. I mean, I have to speak of Josh and Lou as well. I mean, Lou obviously was there, and she was a big reason that just what I just spoke about with the family and the transition went so well, and Josh. What he brings to the table is awesome, and then you have Eleni, and she's the youngest of the staff, but probably the most energetic and passionate person you'll ever meet. She's Brazilian, so that explains some of it, and she's been in the Brazilian full national team pool, she's been in camps, and she's been in camps with the pro leagues, and she just brings something to the table. It's a little unique because she's kind of been there, done that, but also she's still, she's young enough that I think the relationship she has with the goalkeepers, and not only Caitlin, but with Alana Munger too. I mean, I've seen those keepers and Cassie Sternbach, but all three of them have just grown so much from the spring, and it's different things. It's maybe footwork and it's timing and it's coming out on 1v1s, and Eleni she's a student of the game. She's one of the NSCAA's 30 under 30 coaches. And she's just really a student of the game, and she's so passionate, and I think if you asked Caitlin herself, she would tell you it's been a really fun year training as well.
And she was on that quarterfinal team for you.
She was. She made
So-
the game-saving
Right.
6th PK save.
So has there been any? Has that rubbed off as well with the keeper? Has there been direct conversation about that, or just more informal?
Oh yeah, the girls knew about that. They knew we knocked UNC out of the tournament 2 years ago, and Eleni, I think, as a big part of that, she was the reason we did really, and I think that inspires the girls. I think they, Caitlin really respects her as a player. So I mean, she could jump in the goal and play for Brazil national team like right now.
I'm done. You probably need to take a drink of water.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
players.
All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
good luck tomorrow.